Federal safety regulators now have their first report of an injury blamed on a troubled transmission installed in the Jeep Cherokee. Consumer investigator Jim Strickland found the report after he learned his story from earlier this week wasn't over.
On Monday, my story featured this 2015 Jeep and its continued transmission problems. The owner got a call from the manufacturer the next day. The day that story aired, the feds received a complaint that stands out among all these others.
We're off.
They made it so fun, but then all of a sudden, a month after, it was like a nightmare.
First, she says there were mechanical problems.
The shocks were bad, and then the tires had to be replaced after a month.
Then the temporary tags Carvana provided expired, and she says she was unable to register her car. A big problem since she worked as an Uber driver.
And they just told me that they were not responsible.
She says she was unable to drive for Uber and lost her job.
If you're not going to refund me the money, then give me a $500 credit that I could use at your dealership any way I want, whether it be for parts or service or accessories, whatever, so that when it's time for service, even though I wouldn't really want to do business with these people, I can at least get some value out of that $500.
Buying a brand new vehicle has always been marketed as a symbol of progress. It means you've arrived. It's freedom, reliability, comfort, and the peace of mind that comes from driving something untouched by previous owners, backed by a manufacturer warranty, and loaded with the latest safety and tech features. For most people, it's the second biggest financial decision they'll ever make after buying a home. And thanks to the way modern financing works, it's often a 6-year commitment, 72 monthly payments, thousands in interest, and a long road ahead where the car is supposed to work flawlessly, day in and day out. But something has changed. Quietly, almost imperceptibly, the entire foundation of that trust has started to erode. You don't see it in the commercials. You don't hear it at the dealership. But behind the curtain, something is going very wrong in the American automotive industry. What we're seeing now, what thousands of first-year car buyers are discovering, is that many brand new vehicles are failing catastrophically before their first oil change. We're not talking about minor annoyances like a loose trim piece or a squeaky door panel. We're talking about complete power loss at highway speeds, engines seizing without warning, suspensions collapsing, infotainment systems crashing so badly that even basic vehicle controls, like AC or safety sensors, become unusable. In some cases, families have been left stranded in traffic, calling roadside assistance for help while still paying $800 a month on a vehicle they bought just a few months ago. And the worst part? It's not limited to one model, one engine, or even one company. This is happening across the board, from electric cars to gas trucks, budget-friendly sedans to luxury SUVs. Even the most respected nameplates, brands people grew up trusting, are now delivering vehicles that are riddled with hidden defects, rushed production flaws, and cost-cutting shortcuts that leave new owners footing the bill when everything goes wrong. The problem isn't just the cars, it's the system. A system where manufacturers knowingly ship defective vehicles, where dealerships hide known issues to push inventory, and where service departments delay, deny, and deflect responsibility even when safety is on the line. This video is about those stories. It's about the growing number of Americans who regret their car purchase before they've even hit 10,000 miles. It's about the brands that are causing the most pain, frustration, and financial damage to their owners, and how they're getting away with it. We're going to show you the 8 car brands with the worst reputations among first-year owners. We'll break down the real failures, the hidden recall scandals, the skyrocketing depreciation rates, and the systemic quality collapse that's turning the American car market into a minefield for everyday drivers. So if you're thinking about buying a new car anytime soon, or if you're already in one and wondering why the dealership suddenly stopped returning your calls, subscribe right now. This isn't opinion, this isn't sensationalism, this is hard data, real stories, and a breakdown of the auto industry's most uncomfortable truths. The more informed you are, the more power you have to avoid becoming the next owner with buyer's remorse and a broken car in the driveway. Let's get into it. Let's start with General Motors. a company that's long held the image of American durability and engineering pride. GM's brands like GMC, Chevrolet, and Buick are marketed as tough, dependable, built for the long haul. But right now, thousands of new owners are facing an ugly reality. The engines at the heart of these vehicles, especially the 5.3L and 6.2L V8s, are failing at shocking rates. We're not talking about years down the line. We're talking within the first 12 to 15,000 miles. These aren't slow breakdowns either. These are complete engine seizures, often while driving at highway speeds, leaving families with no power steering, no brakes, and no time to react. It's not just dangerous, it's life-threatening. What makes this worse is how GM is handling it. Instead of issuing a recall or alerting the public, the company is quietly distributing internal service bulletins to dealerships, telling them to wait until engines fail before doing anything. This means unsuspecting customers are driving ticking time bombs with no warning until their truck dies in traffic. And when they bring the vehicle in, they're often told to wait 8 to 12 weeks for a replacement engine, thanks to nationwide part shortages. No loaner car, no rental reimbursement after a certain period. Just a massive financial burden on someone who thought they were buying a $70,000 workhorse. The result? Resale values are crashing. At wholesale auctions 2023 to 2025, GM trucks with these engines are already selling for 15 to 20% less than similar trucks from other manufacturers. That's not normal depreciation. That's the market running from a brand that failed to deliver. Now let's shift to Land Rover, often seen as the crown jewel of luxury SUVs. With price tags routinely exceeding $100,000, these vehicles are supposed to represent the best in comfort, performance, and prestige. But what many first-year owners are discovering is that behind all the leather and tech, Land Rover has a massive quality control problem. In fact, according to J.D. Power's 2025 initial quality study, Land Rover ranks dead last among all luxury brands, with over 250 problems per 100 vehicles, more than double the industry average. And these aren't minor quirks. We're talking about total infotainment failures, broken climate systems, collapsing air suspensions, and vehicles that become completely undrivable, sometimes within weeks of delivery. The air suspension, a key feature in almost every Range Rover, is notorious for failing early. When it does, it doesn't just ride rough, it sags, leans, and becomes unsafe to drive. Combine that with electrical gremlins that disable parking sensors, driver aids, and even basic dashboard readouts, and you've got a luxury car that behaves like a lemon. And when owners try to get things fixed, they face parts delays of 3-4 weeks or more, with components often having to be shipped from the UK. In the meantime, they're stuck paying $1,200, $100 a month on a vehicle that's parked at a service bay. Depreciation is brutal too. Black Book data shows 1-year-old Range Rovers retain just 71% of their original value, which is 15 points lower than other luxury leaders. That's a $30,000, $40,000 drop in a single year, turning what looked like a luxury investment into a financial disaster. Then there's Tesla, the brand that promised to revolutionize the automotive world. And in some ways it did. But while Tesla may have pioneered EV tech and direct-to-consumer sales, it also became the face of cut corners build quality. New owners routinely report massive gaps between panels, loose trim, frayed seat material, and even water leaks from misaligned seals, within just weeks of ownership. But the real problems start when you look at the tech. Tesla's vehicles rely almost entirely on the central touchscreen for everything: AC, drive modes, lights, even windshield wipers. But that same touchscreen is failing in roughly 12% of new vehicles within the first year, according to extended warranty claim data. When it goes out, the car is partially or completely unusable. Add in the still problematic autopilot and so-called full self-driving features, often costing $10,000, $15,000. And you've got a recipe for disappointment. These systems still struggle with basic lane recognition, abrupt disengagements, and even misreading road signs, leading to real-world safety incidents. NHTSA has already launched multiple investigations into Tesla's driver assistance systems, but that hasn't stopped Tesla from aggressively marketing them. Service, meanwhile, is a whole separate nightmare. Many owners are waiting 2 to 4 weeks for appointments, with limited mobile repair options and chronic part shortages. And when problems come up under warranty, Tesla is increasingly denying claims, calling defects normal wear or owner-caused. That's not just frustrating, it's dangerous and expensive. Let's talk about Jeep, a brand that has built its entire identity around ruggedness, resilience, and off-road capability. Their trail-rated badge is marketed as a stamp of durability, a sign that these vehicles can handle the harshest conditions. But what many first-year owners are finding out is that Jeep's reliability issues don't start after years of abuse on the trail. They begin almost immediately, often on city streets and daily commutes. One of the most widespread problems, the 9-speed automatic transmission used in models like the Cherokee, Compass, and Renegade, it's been a disaster. Drivers report hard shifts, gear slippage, hesitation, and full transmission failure, sometimes with less than 10,000 miles on the odometer. NHTSA has already logged over 3,000 complaints about this transmission design alone. Warranty data suggests that 12% of units require major repairs or full replacement in the first 18 months of ownership. Think about that. 1 in every 8 new Jeeps is headed for major transmission work before it's even halfway paid off. And the problems don't stop there. The Uconnect infotainment system, a central feature in nearly every Jeep model, is riddled with bugs and system crashes. Screens freeze, backup cameras fail, audio systems cut out randomly, and climate controls go offline. These issues go far beyond entertainment. They affect the basic safety and functionality of the vehicle. Worse, they often trigger false warning lights or random electrical faults that cause panic, or, in some cases, complete vehicle shutdowns. Water intrusion is another chronic issue. Owners of Wrangler and Gladiator models report water leaking into the cabin during rainstorms, leaving standing puddles in the footwells and soaking carpets. Some vehicles have documented mold growth within the first year. Meanwhile, interior quality doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Seats wear down quickly, stitching comes loose, dashboards warp or rattle, and trim pieces break off during regular use. The reality is, many new Jeeps look and feel 5 years old within the first 12 months of ownership. But what truly worsens the Jeep ownership experience is the service aftermath. Warranty repair. Wait times are brutal. 3 to 4 weeks is average for major issues, with many dealerships overwhelmed by volume and lacking the parts or diagnostic tools to act quickly. Loaner cars are hit or miss. Some owners are left without any form of transportation for weeks, while still paying hefty monthly payments. Financially, this becomes a trap. Jeep vehicles with known transmission issues are depreciating 28% faster than the segment average, according to Black Book data. That means if you try to sell or trade it in, you'll take a massive loss. If you keep it, you're likely to face expensive repairs the second your warranty expires. It's a no-win situation, and yet Jeep continues advertising these models as go-anywhere adventure machines, masking a growing pile of reliability issues that have nothing to do with rugged use. Then we have Jaguar, a brand that for decades has represented British elegance, exclusivity, and sport luxury. Their vehicles are sleek, fast, and loaded with features. But for many first-year owners, the honeymoon ends the moment the infotainment system boots up. Jaguar's InControl Touch Pro system is among the least reliable infotainment platforms in the luxury space. According to extended warranty claims, nearly 27% of these systems fail or require major repair in the first 12 months. And when they fail, they take core vehicle functions down with them. Climate control, backup cameras, safety systems, even basic instrument cluster readouts. Some owners report multiple full system replacements within the first year of ownership, each requiring 1 to 2 weeks at the dealer. That would be bad enough on its own. But then come the engine problems. Jaguar's Ingenium engines, both gas and diesel, are facing widespread issues like excessive oil consumption, coolant leaks, and premature timing chain failures. Many of these problems begin as early as 10,000 to 20,000 miles, catching owners completely off guard. One minute your Jaguar is smooth and refined, and the next it's making grinding noises, throwing warning lights, or overheating. And when it comes time for repairs, good luck. Jaguar has a limited dealer network, meaning some owners have to travel over 100 miles for service appointments. Parts availability is a constant issue, with some components taking weeks to ship from the UK. Meanwhile, labor rates at Jaguar dealerships average $180 to $250 per hour, meaning out-of-warranty repairs can reach $3,000 to $5,000 for relatively simple fixes. The resale value? It drops like a rock. Some Jaguar sedans and SUVs lose 30 to 40% of their value in the first year alone, and dealers are increasingly hesitant to take them on trade without deep discounts. All this adds up to a brutal combination: a luxury brand with the performance and aesthetic to impress, but the reliability and support system of a third-tier manufacturer. The badge might carry prestige, but for many new Jaguar owners, that prestige is buried under stress, frustration, and tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected loss. By now, we've looked at specific brands and the horror stories piling up from their recent models. But the real problem runs even deeper than faulty transmissions or glitchy screens. What we're seeing today isn't just a few bad models. It's a systemic shift in the way vehicles are being designed, built, and sold. Automakers are no longer building cars to last. They're building them to survive, barely, until the warranty runs out. And for the average buyer, that change is both invisible and devastating. Let's break it down. In the past, vehicles were over-engineered. Manufacturers built them to last 200,000 miles because long-term reliability was a competitive edge. But over the last decade, the strategy shifted. Increasingly, manufacturers are working backwards from cost targets. That means thinner metal, cheaper plastic, simplified wiring, and a software-first approach that often replaces proven mechanical systems with buggy digital alternatives. Instead of improving quality, automakers are now focusing on lowering production costs and increasing margins, even if that comes at the expense of long-term durability. This trend is especially dangerous because it's hidden behind technology. Automakers love to advertise advanced features: self-driving, AI navigation, massive touchscreens, remote diagnostics. But most of these systems are introduced before they're fully tested in real-world conditions. What happens is that owners become the test subjects. When something fails, the manufacturer issues a quiet software update or blames user error. Meanwhile, the hardware underneath, the suspension, the drivetrain, the transmission, is no longer as robust as it used to be. It's all just good enough to survive the warranty period, but not much longer. Worse, the dealership model has become part of the problem. Service departments are overwhelmed, warranty repairs are backlogged, and technicians are often not fully trained on these newer systems. Many dealerships are refusing to disclose known defects to customers because doing so would slow down sales or force early buybacks. So they pass the problem on to the next owner. Even if your car is in the shop for weeks, even if you're making payments on something undrivable, they've already moved on to the next sale. And let's talk about depreciation, because this is where the financial trap becomes undeniable. Vehicles that were once considered safe investments, like full-size trucks or luxury SUVs, are now losing value at record speed. Why? Because the market is catching on. Dealerships and auction buyers don't want to take on high-risk inventory. So even if you take great care of your vehicle, the brand's reputation and failure rate is now baked into its resale value. You may owe $60,000 on a truck that now books for $42,000, and it's not even 2 years old. That's not just frustrating, it's financial quicksand. This shift in design philosophy has created a whole new kind of consumer risk. Buyers who thought they were making a long-term investment in safety, technology, and brand reputation are now discovering they've been sold a disposable product, one that fails early, costs more to repair, and can't be resold without taking a massive hit. And with average car loans now stretching to 6 or even 7 years, this has created a scenario where people are locked into debt for vehicles they no longer trust to get them to work or keep their families safe. So the question becomes, how do you protect yourself? How do you see through the marketing and avoid becoming the next driver stuck with a lemon and a 72-month loan? The answer starts with knowing exactly which brands are failing, why they're failing, and what you can do about it before you sign anything. That's what we'll cover next. After everything we've covered, from catastrophic engine failures to luxury SUVs spending months in repair bays, it's clear that buying a new car today isn't what it used to be. The once clear promise of durability, reliability, and peace of mind has been replaced by uncertainty, risk, and a financial trap many don't see coming until it's too late. So what can you do? First, research matters more than ever. Don't rely on flashy ads or brand reputation alone. Look up recent owner complaints, warranty claim data, and third-party reliability studies like J.D. Power or Consumer Reports. Pay special attention to first-year reliability stats. These are the biggest red flags. If a brand or model is consistently reported to have engine, transmission, or electronic failures early on, that's a signal to think twice. Second, don't underestimate the value of a thorough pre-purchase inspection. Even on new or nearly new cars, independent mechanics and specialists often catch issues dealers won't mention or might downplay. Ask about recall history and whether the dealer has proactively addressed any known problems. If they hesitate or can't provide clear answers, walk away. Third, consider extended warranties or service plans carefully, but don't see them as a cure-all. While these can help offset repair costs, they don't prevent breakdowns or stop depreciation. Also, many extended warranties have strict conditions and exclusions that make claims difficult. Know what's covered and what isn't before paying extra. Fourth, if you're financing, be aware that your loan is likely longer than the expected lifespan of the car's reliability. Plan for the possibility that you might owe more than your vehicle is worth for years. This means budgeting not only for payments, but also unexpected repairs, downtime, and possibly a replacement vehicle sooner than planned. Finally, stay informed and hold manufacturers accountable. Follow forums, social media groups, and consumer watchdogs. Spread the word about problems you encounter. The more owners push back and share information, the harder it becomes for automakers to hide defects or ignore safety risks. Pressure from consumers has forced recalls and redesigns in the past, and it can do so again. At the end of the day, the American automotive market is in the middle of a serious quality crisis. The cars being sold today are not what they appear to be. But with the right knowledge, vigilance, and caution, you can avoid the worst of this epidemic. If you found this video useful, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Your next car purchase might depend on it.